Street Fighter 6 has a serious issue right now. The input interpreter sucks in this game. I even see some people kinda blame it on the controllers, which that's not necessarily true, but Street Fighter 6 has been out for over 3 weeks at this point, and so many people constantly ask every time a new fighting game come out, what controller do you use? Something y'all don't know about me, and yours truly, is that I'm somewhat of a controller enthusiast myself. I think I have almost every mainline iteration of a controller that ever existed since the Nintendo 64. But what are the potential good ones for fighting games, and which one's just ugly you shouldn't even try to use? But do you know what else you need in your life? You're gonna need some Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends offers an immersive gameplay experience like no other, with over 700 champions to collect and customize. You'll assemble your team of legendary heroes, each with their own unique skills and abilities. From fierce warriors to cunning sorcerers, the choice is yours. I don't gotta tell you this game fire. Over 62 million downloads and installs of Raid Shadow Legends already happened. Strategy is the key to victory in Raid Shadow Legends. Engage in tactical turn-based combat where timing and teamwork will determine your success. Unleash devastating skills, synergize with your team and the characters you pick, and unleash fire abilities to defeat them enemies. And the best thing about Raid is that they have constant and consistent updates, but the adventure doesn't just stop here at all. The developers behind Raid Shadow Legends are committed to bringing you a dynamic and ever-evolving world. Also, what if you don't know about Raid characters? Well, Raid got you covered. Raid has also released a limited animated series, Call of the Arbiter. It tells you more about the characters and their background. Raid's adding some of the new characters from the series as champions you can play with in-game. That's fire, right? The first one is Artak, a mighty orc warlord. What's super cool is that Artak is going to be available to everybody that play this for free. All you gotta do is log into Raid for 7 days between now and July 24th. Also, there's multiple ways to play Raid Shadow Legends. You can play the game casually and enjoy the high quality graphics of the game, or you could go straight head on in with the PvP in the game. You know you like to fight people on this channel, so also check out the PvP arena because it's my favorite part of the game, no cap. So that means there's just so much accessibility there with regular updates, new champions, and exciting events. There's always something new to discover in Raid Shadow Legends. Go ahead and sign up and play for free with the link in the description down below. It really helps the content. It's going to help your life enjoyment as well. Thank you at Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Before we go any further, this is my opinion. You may get used to the controller. I may not like that controller. So I'm going to tell y'all, this is my opinion before we go any further. So let's run down every type of controller to start off with. One of my personal favorite controllers for fighting games is pretty much any iteration of an Xbox controller. The Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X controller is godlike. What's really beautiful about this controller is this D-pad. I really love the clickiness of the D-pad. It's so good. I love it so much. The buttons all click. It has this dang near like mouse kind of sound to it. It is a beautiful experience, and it just makes me feel like a placebo effect. Like I know I'm hitting my combos and the buttons come out. This is honestly one of my favorite controllers in the last 10 years. I highly recommend this. But you're probably looking at the video right now like, yeah, well, how am I gonna use an Xbox controller on our PlayStation? Well, I got the answer for you. This thing, not this specific one, but let me get to explaining. Now, I am not sponsored by these people at all. Nothing at this point is sponsored this video. But if you go to brook.com, they have converters that let you use whatever controller on whatever systems you need to play on. If you're a person that's going to go to tournaments, you know most likely most fighting games will be ran for the meantime on PS5. So don't worry, you can use almost any controller you want on any system at this point with video games. Now, y'all not gonna like this next one, but I absolutely gotta do it to y'all, bro. This is the worst controller for fighting games. I absolutely hate this controller. I don't even care. It's so dirty. I don't even care about it. I just use it to play my single player games. That's how much I don't like this controller. It's so big and bulky. The D-pad is not really a good D-pad in my honest opinion. And literally, yeah, I'm a person that uses the analog stick, right, for fighting games. I know I'm the weird one, okay? I know I'm the weird one. I use analog sticks to do like quarter circles, all emotions. Even Mortal Kombat, I would do the inputs with downright button. Like that's how I've always been. It's just what I've grown to know how to do it with. And I just don't like this controller at all. However, I will say before y'all get mad at me, this is probably the best starter option. I mean, it comes out the box with the PS5. You already have one with it. I personally think DualShock 4 after time, might be one of the best controllers Sony has ever made out of the box from their console. That controller is more compact, it's more small, it fits, it ain't a slugfest to feel like I'm carrying damn near a brick in my hand. I think the PS4 controller is probably one of the best controllers for fighting games. Now this is a typical arcade stick. You know, I don't use this as much anymore, and I'll tell you why. After a while, my hand started hurting on stick. It just, after a while, it was just like wear and tear, and I was just like, yo, I love you. Arcade sticks are good. There's so many different versions of arcade sticks. There's even smaller versions of it. You can make your own arcade stick. There's even YouTube videos on how to make your own arcade stick for less than $60 a lot of cases. So yeah, you got so many different things you could do with this arcade stick 100%. I personally think, from my experience, it is 100% easier to do DP motions on arcade stick. It is so much easier. If you struggle with doing motion inputs, probably learn how to play on stick could probably switch that up for you. I ain't gonna lie to you, that's how I feel, because I used to struggle on controller, got to stick, and then things just started clicking, because the motions are easier to just map out than just looking at a D-pad for me. That's just my personal preference, but you don't need it, okay? This is a Kwamba Obsidian. This is probably my favorite arcade stick of all time, but I've moved on to bigger and better things. I got you. Now, my favorite fight stick of all time right now, and this is right now, would have to go to Victrix Pro FS. This controller is a hitbox or a leverless, meaning it's an all button controller. Therefore, you don't have to use an analog stick. So if you're one of those people that like playing video games on keyboard, trial keyboard fighting games first, this might be a thing for you if you really want to get to the nitty gritty of it. I will tell you that this stopped my hands from hurting. I could play fighting games way longer, which I got into some accident last year where it wasn't really good for my hands to play fighting games. I almost had to quit, but you know, all this was gonna be over with, bro. But this controller, one big thing I have to worry people about, it is not a cheat box. You have to do like more inputs to do certain moves, bro. Like doing like Strive supers literally look like crack trying to do them compared to just spinning the, you know, doing the motion. It's way more easier. It's a whole new muscle memory you gotta learn. And sometimes when you do combos, it's better to train your hands to do both things, like work on both sides, to be honest with you. But I think this has made charge characters some of the most fun characters in the history of fighting games to ever play. I love this for charge characters. And again, I am not sponsored by them. I'm going to make a whole video about this next product coming soon. Don't worry, it'll be coming out within the next month or so. The Victrix controller is the greatest controller of all time. Now, I've seen many different opinions about this controller on social media, like it's really good, but then like it breaks. I haven't had that experience yet. I've used this controller for at least 70-80 hours at this point between Street Fighter 6 and Fortnite. What's so dope about this controller is you see that I have these buttons right here, right? You see these buttons right here, right? Watch this. I completely changed this controller in 2 minutes, bro. 2 minutes. So first of all, I changed the D-pad 100% here. So now I have the D-pad that's like the Xbox controller, one of my favorite D-pads pretty much, right? Then I made the analog stick down here, so this could be good for shooters as well as fighting games. And then I even made the buttons like a fight commander. And the truth is, everybody, anybody can learn how to play any type of controller for fighting games. Let's be honest, let's be real. People play on Guitar Hero in tournaments, or even a person that played a steering wheel cooking people in Guilty Gear Xrd, arguably one of the hardest games or fighting games in the genre. That being said, I would love if you guys subscribe. We are on the road to 20K, man. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna be streaming. We play fighting games and JRPGs here. We're getting ready for Final Fantasy 16 soon. Don't sleepy. Remember, you guys are golden, and that is raw. Squalla. Peace, and I'm out.